Okay, we're back, and delighted to have our son in the studio with us today, Jason Atkinson. He's authored a book called Inside Out. Let me encourage you to get a copy of this, Stories of Oregon's Stewards and Unsung Heroes of the Land. There's a picture of it. You can go to jasonaatkinson.com and get a copy of it there. And this is kind of the, well, it just says a lot about everything we're talking about here today, but it's also going to give you a part of Oregon that perhaps you may not know exists. And these are people who are out there living and living on the land and good stewards of the land. So get a copy of this book. And then the movie called A River Between Us, which will be released sometime this spring nationwide, deals with what could be the largest restoration project in the world, dealing with the Klamath Basin and the Klamath River, from the Klamath Basin all the way out to the Pacific Ocean. But it's really a story about people coming along and getting along. And you mentioned the Beatitudes. We showed you that, a little clip there of the Beatitudes. So I've seen the movie. I've had a little bit special privileges to see the movie. The hardness between the various players is beginning to break down. Where do you think this is going? I mean, it was pretty phenomenal to see these people realize their destiny's in their own hands, not the government's.
Right. Yeah. You know, since we've got the feature-length portion of the film done, in the last 2 months, we've been testing and working and getting ready to roll it out. But the film has been used to actually hold groups of folks together in this coalition. So you have 46 groups of people, 46. It's hard. You can't get 46 people in the same room to ever agree. They got 46 groups of people over a decade to come together. And we've seen the film be used as a way to really strengthen that coalition and keep people together and remind each other of their motivations. But where it's going is it's just a very clear time in the United States history where the Klamath isn't the issue, the Klamath is the snapshot. And the Klamath really does represent who we all are as Americans. If we do nothing, that's who we are. If we stay partisan on everything, that's who we are. If we dare to be big again, then that's who we are. And I think when this story gets out, the way we're seeing people respond to the real people side of this is we're on, very clearly, you're going to be on one side of history or the other. But the country is not going to be the same. This is one of those pivotal times, and this is a pivotal issue when we make it a national story, that this really says who we all are. So I am an optimist, and I believe and love public service. So I have to believe in optimism. I think 99.9% of people look at the Klamath and they look at it very closely, and they look at it as a local issue, and they look at it as a partisan issue, and they say, well, it's never going to happen. It's very fear-based. It's very, if you step back to the level where the rest of America is, I think it's time where the country's going to be great again.
The consequences if they don't do this, if they don't come together?
Status quo, missed opportunity, missed history, and the opportunity to keep people groups divided from each other. One of the most telling things is, you know, in all the interviews we were doing, one of the interviews was very, person is not in the film, but as soon as the camera was turned off, he really told us what he thought about those Indians. And you got to step back for a second and say, you know, wait a minute. There's a lot of ill that can go around on a variety of sides, or about those environmentalists, about those irrigators, about those ranchers. You know, as long as you separate people like that, it's easy to demean them and to tear people apart. When you see people like in the film, I asked this guy, it was really pretty clever, because I'd go around and I'd ask the Indians, for Native American friends of mine, I'd say, so you keep mentioning the Creator. Do you pray to the Creator? Yeah. Well, who is the Creator? Well, it's probably Jesus. Okay. The guys upriver, who do they pray to? You think you're praying to the same guy? You think you're praying for the same thing? So you're both praying to the same guy for victory over the other person. Well, what's going to happen there? It's
great.
interesting. And
Yeah.
so, those are the dynamics that start to happen.
Well, be looking for it. It'll be out sometime this spring, in April, A River Between Us. And if you want a copy of this book, I think what you ought to do is get a copy of the book, read it, before you see the film. I think it kind of sets the platform for the film. You can go to jasonaatkinson.com and order the book inside out and get a copy of it. There's a picture on the screen, those watching on the Dove TV. Well, thank you, Jason. This is fascinating to say the least, and I can't wait till we can play the whole thing on the Dove TV.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I want to say to the Dove viewers this morning, you saw something that nobody else has ever seen yet. You got to see the trailer on broadcast, so that's
Yeah.
good. All right,
Great
thanks.
day.
All right, we'll be right back.